Hello there, happy to have you here again. So today I would like to talk about something different. I would like to talk about a question that most of us have when we are starting to play jazz guitar, and the question is, how do I start playing jazz guitar? I thought about it a little bit and also did a little bit of research. I did this mind mapping here. So I went through the internet and did some research in some forums and in Reddit and did a mapping here in terms of how people are answering this question when this question is asked in those internet places. And there are many ways people answer this question, and I would like to talk about something of them with you today. Some people mentioned about going to YouTube and learn from YouTube videos or YouTube educators like Jens Larsen or Sandra Sherman, for instance. They also made a few comments about those educators. For instance, Jens Larsen got some comments that some of his lessons are a little bit hard to grasp as a beginner jazz guitar player. Some others think that he has lessons for all levels. And regarding Sandra, some people said that her videos are the best, that she teaches very well. Some people also mentioned a website called jazzguitar.be, which has, as they say, a good introductory level classes for folks who are willing to start playing jazz. And from those here that were mentioned, I know Jens and Sandra Sherman from YouTube, of course. I also learned a little bit from their videos, and even from Jens Larsen I have bought some courses as well, and I will talk a little bit about that later on. Apart from that, people also shared their own personal strategies or personal experiences, right? Some people told to pick up a jazz standard first, then learn the chords and melody separately first, then try to put them together, and then just repeat this cycle over and over. I think this could be a good idea, but not exactly right when you are starting, in my view, because it might be a little bit difficult for you to pick the right standard to play. You may pick something that is too complex, and then you will feel very quickly frustrated, because some standards, even though they look simple, they are a lot sophisticated and they have a lot baked into it, and then if you don't have certain understanding about certain topics, you will either not be able to play it as you would like to play, or sound as you like to sound, and then eventually you will become frustrated and will give up, essentially. So yes, it could be good, but you need to be careful and know when to pick a standard and which standard to pick. Then the next strategy here was someone saying to learn the basic grips, the basic jazz grips, like the major 7, the minor 7, the dominant 7, the major 7 flat 5, diminished 7 chords with roots on the E, A and D strings. Well, this is already like a lot, so it's not definitely something that I would do as a beginner to start in this part here, because it has some complexities that I think you need to learn this a little bit further down the road. So you need to learn something before that in order to get to that point where you can learn all these types of chords here, their variations, and how to play them in different parts of the guitar as well. So I would definitely not recommend starting from this point here. Then some other folks recommended the book The Guitarist's Intro to Jazz. I particularly don't know this book. Maybe it's a good one, maybe it's not. I am using the Modern Method for Guitar from William Levitt, And for me, this one, it's one of the best books so far in terms of methodology, in terms of how it progresses, in terms of the complexity of the exercises and how they gradually evolve to more complex exercises. So I'm really enjoying this book, and that's the one I would recommend right now if you want to get a book to know very well all the foundation that you need to play any kind of guitar. Actually, this is not only for jazz guitars, but it will be suitable for any kind of guitar. Plus, this book also focuses a lot on reading music actually. So if you also have a gap in that area that you cannot read music, this book it's really amazing in that area. So it will teach you a lot. You gotta be patient a little bit because there are like super simple exercises that sometimes you will not be able to play, and you would feel a little bit mad about yourself. But just trust the method, have patience, practice every day, and you will notice progress very quickly. Then another topic is that someone mentioned is that the biggest hurdle for them was fretboard knowledge. And that's very true. So I also have this issue, and I'm working towards improving it. I even created a video about my strategy on how to map the fretboard for beginners. And I think this is a super important topic that people should not skip. There are many ways as to how to do it. Someone here mentioned about practicing with diatonic arpeggios in a few positions on the neck. I think this could be a good idea, but also not at the very start, as I mentioned in my video. Please check it out. I think there are easier ways to start with the mapping of the fretboard, and that will also be super helpful. And you can do those before you actually move to something a little bit more complicated, like playing diatonic arpeggios. First, you have to know what diatonic means. Second, you need to know what an arpeggio means, and then you need to know how to play those arpeggios, etc. So it's a lot more that you have to know to use this strategy here. There are simpler things that you can do before that that will also be super helpful for you to know the notes here on the neck of the guitar. Okay? That's of course my view, right? So your mileage may vary, as always. And another person said that only a good teacher will help you learn the foundation with a good method. I think this is so much true. I tried to learn jazz guitar from many different sources, from YouTube videos, from Instagram videos, from courses, from books, etc. And from all those things that I tried, the ones that worked the best for me were courses from some people that knew how to structure them very well. I bought courses from some educators, and some are good and some are not, in my view. One that I can recommend personally is Jens Larsen's Jazz Roadmap course, because A, he knows very well what he's doing, and B, the course itself, it's very well structured. It's similar to this book here. It has a progression, so it starts with the foundations and then progress gradually to something more complex, but it will also give you a lot of the foundation in terms of how to play jazz guitar. So this is a course that I would recommend. I kind of dropped this course at the middle of it, to be honest, but until the part I did, I was really satisfied with it. But then towards the middle of the course as well, I felt that I was missing some parts, some foundational knowledge that was not entirely covered in the course. That's why I researched and found this book here that I'm using right now, The Modern Method for Guitar by William Levitt, which goes like from the very basics, from the very foundational aspects of guitar playing, and then moves gradually to something more complex. It will go through all the keys, it will teach you all the types of chords, it will teach you harmony and all that stuff, but in a very structured way. And that's, I think, what they mentioned about having a good teacher. It could be a person, of course, but it could also be like a method like this if you like more to work with methods, and that's the thing that you like to do. Having a good book could be really useful for you. But also if you have a local teacher that you know, or if you want to go to classes and have an in-person experience, have a one-to-one experience in terms of learning and having someone to give you feedback, etc. So that could also be like a great strategy, and one that I could also recommend. Then someone else said, pick Autumn Leaves, it's a good start, use sheet music if you can read it. Yeah, again, this is the topic about picking a standard, right? So Autumn Leaves it's a standard that it's used a lot for beginners because it was written in a familiar key. It's in the C major key, so you would have mostly major chords, some relative minor chords, and there's a lot that you can learn in this piece for sure. And yeah, it could be one that you could start with, although it looks like simple, it has a lot in it. So if you study it for a longer period of time, you can also realize that it is quite sophisticated as well, even though it looks like simple when it's used for beginner instruction. And then there's this point about reading sheet music. I think this is also important. I started playing with guitar tabs, and because mostly I started playing like campfire songs, rock songs, etc. And I started mostly with chord charts and tabs, essentially, right? But in parallel, I was playing in a school band, and I had some music lessons as well. And there I learned how to read sheet music, how to write music as well at that time, and I kind of didn't practice that too much, and I ended up forgetting everything basically. Then I picked up this book here, and I kind of started relearning everything once again. Of course, some of those things I already knew, but I started it with the mindset of not knowing everything, and I'm going from the very start of the book, from the very basics, getting to know the stuff, getting to know the key signature, the time signatures, where the notes are on the staff, the intervals between the notes, and all of that. So I think it's also important that you have this mindset, sometimes even though you know something or you think you know something, just go back and try to learn it again as if you didn't know it. I think you always learn something new, and it's also a very good way to fixate that in your head if you already know and just want to get some reinforcements or some refresh about that topic. That's something I would highly recommend as well. Most of the jazz tunes you will find written in either in a lead sheet where you have only the chords, or in sheet music where you have the tune written in music format. So that's very useful knowledge, and if you want to play jazz, you should really start learning to read sheet music. It's not that complex. Of course, it can become very complex over time. There's a lot to it, but to get the basics and to get started playing some tunes based on the music score, I think it's something doable and something that everyone can do. So yeah, I think that would be a good idea as well. Then someone said learn chord structures in as many places on the neck as you can. Well, I think that comes back to the point of learning something in isolation, right? So if you learn chord structures only and then you play those chord structures on the neck of the guitar, you will learn all the chords. But you will not maybe know what's the best way to put those chords together, which chords go after other chords, which chords goes well along with other chords, which chords don't, etc. So the musical part of it you kind of miss. And that's why I don't like very much just to memorizing chords or memorizing chord shapes, etc. So I think the best way to learn that is to do that through a musical example, either a musical exercise or a tune that you are learning, and then you practice some chords, you know the relationships, you understand why this chord is moving to that chord and to the other chord, etc. So I think if you take it slow and if you take time to really understand what you are playing and what you are doing, I think that's the best way to learn those chords actually. And the next topic here is to listen to jazz artists. I think also this is very important, so I started doing that more often as well. I even wrote a blog post about it. I have on my website what I call artist discovery blog posts, where I write about artists that I just discovered recently and that I enjoyed a lot. I wrote recently about Jonathan Kreisberg, which I just recently discovered. I got to know his work and I really loved it. So it's a really great artist, and he plays really nice interpretations of well-known songs, but also he has, of course, his own songs. So it's really interesting, and I really recommend you to listen different styles of jazz, different types of jazz. The jazz world in terms of styles, it's pretty broad. So it is nice that you have contact with all those kind of types of jazz to try over time figuring out what is the type that you like the most to play. And yeah, I think those were some of the mappings that I did here and that I'd like to share with you. Most of them, they make sense to me. Some of them I would personally not go that way right at the beginning as I shared. In summary, I would say try to figure out something that is structured, that has a method. Don't try to learn only from YouTube videos that are fragmented, you know. They are like just a small lesson, but sometimes they lack the beginning and the end of the topic, and you kind of miss the entire thing. So try to select videos that are complete in terms of the topic that they were talking about, so you don't feel the lack of that beginning and end of the story. And Instagram, I think it's not really the great. I think people are mostly like publishing their work and making themselves known, and there isn't like much space there to give you a complete lesson, a lesson that makes a lot of sense. So you will learn fragments here and there, but soon, very soon those fragments, they will become like very confusing in your head. You will not know how to connect them, and then eventually you will get frustrated. So my personal recommendation would be for you to either go to a local teacher if you want to have a one-on-one interaction with a professor and get human feedback on that, or buy some online lessons with a teacher as well. Or the third option could be to buy a good book, a good method book. It could be this one here that I'm using, but it could be another one that maybe a friend of yours recommended as well. Wherever suits you, wherever you feel that works for you is the best thing for you. And third, if you want to buy online courses, try to buy online courses that are well structured, right? So don't buy just single lessons about a tune, or try to buy something that is a little bit more complete and that will give you more structure in a step-by-step roadmap to get better at the foundational topics that you need to know to play those tunes that you want to play. So today's video is just about that. So I would just like to share some of my experiences and do a little bit of a reflection on how one can start playing jazz guitar, and I hope this was useful somehow to you. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also, as always, leave a comment. Please tell me your experience as well, if you agree, disagree with what I'm saying here. I think this is always a valid exchange, and I will be super happy to hear what you had to say as well. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.